How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here for a little FIFA 13 impressions. The way this video is going to be laid out is we're going to start off with a little bit of the trailer in case you haven't seen it, and then there's going to be a load of screenshots afterwards of the game. It's going to be gameplay footage, some of the screens, some of the stuff from the EA FIFA 13 Football Club. Some of them are going to be from the mobile app that they're making for it, some from the test bed, etc, etc. So just sit back and enjoy those while I pleasure your ears with my voice. So there was like 5 real main things they wanted to show off in this game, and that was the impact engine, first touch control, the complete dribbling, the tactical free kicks, and the attacking intelligence. And so I want to kind of lay down how this demo has panned out. It was just a couple of teams. I can't remember all of them. I think there was 8 or 9 teams, something like that. I can only remember 6 of them. Those were Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Lyon, AC Milan, and Barcelona. It might have been Bayern Munich, might have been Real Madrid, maybe Man U were in there. I can't fully remember all the teams, but either way, that's how it was. And obviously, because I think it's a pre-alpha build of the game, so it's gonna have bugs in it. So there were things missing on the screen at times, like the scoreboard, the stamina, and there was one time I got a penalty, and my power bar was disappeared, so I couldn't actually get the correct shot off, and it blasted over the bar. So that's that. It's got bugs in it. Obviously, it's not finished, and that's just kind of what I wanted to say about that. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about the main things, and also they kind of they emphasized a lot of these things, these core gameplay mechanics they wanted to show off in the game. They kind of like took them, and then the sliders in the game where you can increase your shooting accuracy and stuff like that in the kickoff mode. They kind of did that in a way to show those stuff off, because the media press, they'll only get to come in, they'll do their they'll watch the presentation, then they'll get one game of the game, and then they'll be off for the rest of the week doing other reviews and stuff. So they won't get as much hands-on game time as me and some of the other boys did. So they really wanted to make those things prominent. And one of the first things was the impact engine. It's almost flawless this time. Like, obviously last year was the first year they put it in, so there's going to be bugs in it. It's not quite going to be flawless, and it seems this year that they've improved it so much more with the new model animations that they implemented. So it's more like their real life. They can move instead of being like puppets or like rocks. They can move their bodies a lot more freely, and the animation is a lot better, and there's less of the whole bouncing off each other, getting tangled up in between each other, and then failing to get back up. The new animations where they roll away from the players does help greatly. It helps especially if someone's fallen over and you're still on the attack, they can get straight back up. But it stops the random glitches and bugs that might happen from the impact engine. It works a lot better this time, and you don't get those random penalty decisions. The referee's intelligence is a lot better this time. There are 1 or 2 penalties. I will say this: I don't want to make this a me ass kissing the game kind of video, because there are a couple of things I want to point out in it that might not work. And the first was I had 1 or 2 penalties that might not have. Should have happened. One, I gave away one, and then I got one. One of them was just this guy randomly did something. I don't even know what it was. It was that hard to see. He didn't really do much, and it gave him a penalty. And there's one where I pressed X to clear it. My guy booted it, and apparently he scissor kicked one of the players and gave away a penalty, which is a little bit silly, to be honest, because he's not meant to do it. But what can you do? So it looks really good. The impact engine looks a lot better than it should have been. Works very well with the push and pull system. That's where the whole strength game and pulling people back and pushing them away out the way of the ball looks very good. The first touch control. Now this is something that might annoy you, or it'll be your best friend. Like, at first I hated it, but Japes, I played him and he loved it. And once you get used to it, it is quite a nice aspect of the game. It stops these random plays. It kind of makes people play in a certain way, so you can't pull off unrealistic stuff. It does get very annoying because they emphasize it greatly in this demo, so that basically almost every touch you had a very dodgy touch. But obviously I'm exaggerating that, but it felt that way every time you control the ball. You weren't sure if you were going to keep it under control or not, and it did annoy me at first. But once you start playing short pass football, you stop your character from moving too much, because if they're moving around, it's going to be harder for them to control the ball. If you slow them down a little bit. You try and control it. I held LT a couple times to help get the ball under control. It does help greatly with that aspect, and obviously they're emphasizing it in the demo because the media people and all that will only get so many games with it before they have to go off, and they really want to show that stuff off, and it does do its job very well. But I'm interested to see how it will affect in the full game when there's gold players, silver players, bronze players. I think in Ultimate Team especially, you're going to see a lot less bronze and silver players because that first touch is going to be very dodgy with them. I would at least hope it's that way. So you're going to see a lot more gold teams than you normally would do. But yeah, it's going to be a love or hate thing for a lot of people. It's going to be a bit of a Marmite feature. You either love it or you hate it. I'm on the fence about it at the moment. Obviously, it's nice for the overall feel. It will make the game look a lot more realistic, and it will stop those incredibly unrealistic plays. But it's going to be something you either love it or you hate it, pretty much. The complete dribbling, I didn't notice too much of it. I saw it, glimpses of it, and it was very nice. It looked very nice when you pulled stuff off with it. Overall, I didn't see it too often. I didn't feel it was too necessary at times, because I'd usually end up doing a skill move like the McGeady, the Berber, the heel chop, maybe a rainbow flick. So I didn't make full use of its full potential, but it was nice to see it, and when I did have it, you don't really have to do anything. You just dribble normally or do it. It's kind of like a automatic thing. It did look very nice, so I will give it that. But I didn't quite utilize it enough as much as I should have. So and tactical free kicks, I didn't get many free kicks, and when I did, I tried to shoot from goal even if they were like 40 yards out, so I didn't quite make use of the tactical free kicks. If someone else did, feel free to let me know, and everyone else in the comments, what you thought of them if you did get to play it. So maybe some of the boys got a chance at using the tactical free kicks, who knows. And the attacking intelligence was probably the main thing that stuck out in my mind as being the exceptionally good thing. Your forwards, they made incredibly good runs. They got themselves into space when they were offside, or going to be offside. They started their runs, make curved runs, and the main thing that stuck out for me were through balls actually going into space, because it felt like on FIFA 12 your through balls were more like passes, and would occasionally put the ball through into space. Whereas this time it actually, if you want the ball in space, you see a nice gap of space going, your player will put the ball in that space, and the passing in general just seems a lot better. At getting those tight gaps where people would normally stick their legs out, it seems you can get those balls through with the new passes they've got going, like the little dinked pass, so the ball will travel in the air. So it's looking good on the attacking intelligence front. Noticed a lot of attacking intelligence. The fence was a little bit hard. I didn't find it very easy to defend at all. The only time I found it a little bit more consistent to defend was when you're pretty much in your box. You could stop them coming forward, but if you've got a lot of space between your back line and the goal, the chances are the guys are going to put it through, and your forwards are going to get on it very quickly. So it might be very useful for me as someone who does a lot of 1-2 football, but it might be a little bit annoying for those who are not quite on the ball when it comes to defending. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to say. There's some brief impressions about the game. I got quite a bit of hands-on time with it, so I have a fairly decent knowledge of how it plays, and it looks pretty good. I like it, so it's going to be, I think it's all for the better. And to start off with, everyone's going to be a little bit annoyed with it because they've got to get used to the whole game again, and you have to bear in mind it's not going to be FIFA 12. It's going to be almost a completely different game altogether, so you have to be very patient with it. And I'm glad I did get a little bit more patient with it, because once I was more patient, I started thinking a little bit more about how I was playing. It paid off in the long run. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and a favorite. Share it with anyone who you feel might benefit from this video, and I'll see you later. Peace out.